Naomi here from Omi Oh My Makeup, which is my Instagram handle. So if you'd like to see more makeup I do on the regular, please follow me over there. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell. That way you can be notified anytime I do upload a video. I'm trying to upload about twice a week, and I don't want you guys to miss any of the videos. So what today's video is going to be, a full coverage foundation routine, but one that looks good in person. There's so many YouTubers and influencers and YouTube tutorials out there that I just know doesn't look good in person. You watch the entire tutorial and you see all the products they put on their face, and it doesn't look good in person. It took me a long time to realize that. I'm like, well, how are they doing all these steps and it looks so great, but then when I do it in person, it looks cakey, it looks heavy, it looks creasy, and it's because it's not realistic. You can really trick the camera in any way. I could come on here with terrible makeup and you wouldn't really be able to tell because of the quality of the cameras. So I wanted to do something that looked good in person, so you can actually do all these steps and look good in person. And really the biggest key is prepping the skin, because foundation sits way better on prepped skin, but also everything in moderation. I don't use a ton of foundation, I don't use a ton of concealer, I don't use tons of powder. Everything really in small portions looks so much better, and it might not be the absolute most full coverage, but that doesn't really look super natural. I mean, everyone has blemishes, everyone has freckles, everyone has lines, everyone has wrinkles. So really what makeup is about is making what you have look beautiful and make you feel good, but not masking it all. You can still see I have some spots, I have some redness. I didn't cover up absolutely everything of my face because that doesn't look realistic and it doesn't look nice. It looks cakey. So I wanted to show you this more realistic, everyday, full coverage glam makeup tutorial that you can wear this out in public and feel good and not worry that, oh, is someone going to see how cakey this looks, or does it look bad in the sunlight? It's really a foolproof makeup tutorial, and I hope you enjoy it. This is the look I did. I didn't record the eyes nor the eyebrows, so I did do the eyebrows in my everyday makeup look, so I will link that below so you can click on that video and go watch that. But I kind of do them the same every day. Also, Urban Decay Naked Honey eyeshadow palette, a friend gifted it to me and it looks beautiful. So if you'd like a tutorial on this look, just let me know and I can definitely do that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop rambling. This is the longest intro ever, and if you'd like to see a full coverage foundation tutorial that looks good in person, then keep on watching. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my eyeshadow already done. I always do my eyebrows and my eyeshadow before I do my foundation, and I really want this video to really just look at the foundation and the application and not the eyeshadow or the eyeliner or the eyes at all. So first, what I do, and I think the most important step of makeup or foundation, is skincare. If your skin is dry, if it has, bumps, it has texture, the makeup's not going to look as good on top of it. So skincare is the most important part of makeup. I'm going to show my skincare part of prepping for makeup on camera, because I feel like a lot of influencers don't show that part, and I think that's the most important part of all of it. You can have an $80 foundation, but it's still going to look bad if your skin isn't prepped properly. Always do an eye cream. The one I'm going to use is my CeraVe Eye Repair Cream. It's a really lightweight cream, and it soaks into the skin a lot faster than others do. So I think it's a great one before makeup. So I just take just the tiniest bit, tap it with my fingers, and then just tap it under my eyes. I don't rub or anything, because you don't want to be too abrasive with this under eye skin. Just have a lip treatment on where I'm going to start my makeup. So I already applied it, but it is the Bite Beauty Agave Lip Mask. I think this is really nice when I keep it next to my vanity, and I just apply that whenever I'm going to do my makeup. Next, I'm going to use a Shea Moisture Glow Getter Pressed Serum Moisturizer. So I have really dry skin during the winter, so I need something a little bit heavier than just a normal moisturizer. So this is with Manuka honey and yogurt. It smells really nice, and it's really thick. I don't know if you can see that, but it's almost like a balm, like a petroleum jelly type consistency, and I really like this. So I just take a little bit and I rub it between my fingers, and I just press up and tap it into my skin, and it is super moisturizing and super softening. So it's a great base for my makeup. If you have oily skin, you can definitely skip this step. I think the more hydration, the better for myself, just because my skin is so dry, so I always go in with an oil. This is the Ordinary 100% cold pressed virgin marula oil. So I'm going to just go ahead and apply a little bit of this, just about one tiny little pump. And also apply that to the skin. All this glow will absorb a little bit into the skin, so it's not going to be quite as glowy, but it's just super moisturizing. Put any foundation on top of this. I can use, and I'm going to use a little bit more of a little more high coverage foundation today because I prepped it and it's not going to be as dry underneath. So I feel like another thing that influencers don't really show in their videos is the wait time. So in between different layers of your makeup, you definitely want to wait a good amount of time before you jump into it. Like right now, I'm not going to jump right into my foundation because I want all this to soak into my skin and really absorb. And then I'm going to go in with primer, let that sit, and then I'll go in with foundation. And I think really when you take your time and between layers, I think it helps a lot. So what you could do is when you first wake up, brush your teeth, moisturize the different skincare products on your skin, this, the lip moisturizer, the eye cream, the oil. Go about your day doing, get your coffee, go have your breakfast, come back up, do your primer, go pick out your clothes, get dressed, and then come in and do with your foundation. I think if you take time in between every step, that's really how it all just sits on your skin really nicely, is because it's not all meshing together, because it's all had time to settle in. Alright, so for primer, what I'm going to do today is the NYX Honey Dew Me Up. I really like this one. It gives my skin a nice tacky feeling, so that this nice, flawless, more full coverage glam will actually stay on your skin a lot longer. Also, I think it moisturizes really well, and it has a fantastic smell. It smells really nice. It smells like a salon. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this, and I just use a paddle. Primer is just such a luxurious texture. It's super soft and supple, and I just think it really is an experience just to apply. It's a little more expensive for drugstore primers, but I think it is so worth it, and you can find it on sale a lot. So I just apply that, and I always apply in an upward motion just because you don't want to be dragging your face skin down. You always want to be moving it up and really encouraging blood flow. Then you go ahead and let that sit for a few minutes, and then we'll move on to foundation. Alright, so for foundation today, I'm going to use my Loreal Infallible Fresh Wear, and it's the color 410. I'm definitely a little bit more lighter now, so I need a little bit lighter shade. But you can use any foundation. So any foundation you like that's a little bit more full coverage, if that's what you're looking for that day, this will work. This technique will work because really it's about prepping your skin to make it look really nice. So I'm just going to pump on just a little bit of that on my cheeks. I always start on my cheeks because I have a lot of redness on my cheeks, so I want that foundation to cover the redness, so I always start there. I'm going to use a bit of a stippling brush, kind of a more lightweight brush. I've learned this recently. I've been watching a lot of makeup artists on Instagram and YouTube, and it's all about just fluffing the makeup onto your face, not super structured, but just kind of covering where you need it. So I'm going to go ahead and swirl that, and I'm going in an outward motion because my discoloration is all on my cheeks. I don't have a lot of discoloration on my nose, I don't have a lot on my forehead, my chin just a little bit. So really, foundation doesn't have to be over your entire face. You don't have to plaster the foundation on to look nice. What I think looks best is if you use foundation only where you need it. Try to find a color that's as close enough to your skin tone so that you can do that, and really just apply it where it's needed. And I think that gives you a lot more flawless, beautiful skin, and not super cakey. So I just take a tiny bit on my nose, and I don't go all the way up to under my eyes because you're going to put concealer there anyways. So there's no point in layering up product under your eye. That's how it gets so creasy so fast, is because you're putting too many different products under your eye. And I put very little foundation on my forehead because I have a pretty clear forehead. If you don't, definitely put a little bit more on there. So I just blend out my cheeks, and whatever is left over I take up onto my forehead. I think that's just enough coverage for me. But after I blend it in with a brush, I take a little sponge, tap it into my skin with a sponge around my nose, just to really melt that into my skin. Go by my ears. And I will show some footage of me out in the sun so that you can see it in, like, using my phone or my camera, because you can just make anything look nice on camera. I'm out the NYX Born To Glow concealer, so I wanted to try that today in this video. And I am just going to apply a little bit. Problem with concealer is people think, oh, full coverage, I need to put 10 pounds of it on my face, and that's just not true. really, I think the less you use, the better it's going to look. So try not to use a ton. Then I'm going to use just a little brush and also hold it kind of at the end of the ferrule and just blend that downwards. I don't get it too far up towards my eye because I'm out with eyeshadow anyways. So the less product you can put on your natural creases under your eye, the better it's going to look. Because everyone has wrinkles or creases under your eyes. It's just part of your skin. It's just you have eyeballs, which is a weird shape that creases your eyes. It's just natural. So the less product you can put where your face is naturally going to crease, the better. So I get a little concealer in there, my little nose creases, because I do have a lot of redness there. And I just blend down because right here is where I have the most redness, so that's where I want to cover it the most. Do this with concealer just to really bring the light to the high points of my face, so my forehead, my nose, my cupid's bow, and I just think it adds a lot of nice contrast to your face. After I blend it out with my brush, I do go over it with a sponge to pick up any excess product, but also to blend it into the skin even better. There's that. So next is going to be powder. I'm going to let all of this sit on my face for just a minute and take time in between the different steps, and then I'm going to go in with powder. Powder, I think, it's important if used properly. Incorrectly, it can mess up your entire face. A lot of influencers, I feel, use way too much powder. They're baking their face. They're using, you can literally during the video see it puffing off of their face, and that is not realistic. And it doesn't look good in person. It doesn't look good when you're out in the sun. It doesn't look good on your day-to-day. And I'm a mom. We go to doctor appointments. We go to the store. And I don't want my face to look like it weighs 10 pounds because of the makeup on top of it. I really want it to look natural and look nice and not look like I'm caked on the makeup. All the YouTube videos I watch, it's just not realistic. That makeup does not look good. Honestly, and I was actually shocked, but when I started doing YouTube videos, there was a day my makeup didn't look all that great, and then I hopped on camera to record a video, and it's like, wow, you can't even tell my makeup doesn't look good, because you can hide a lot on the camera. So I wanted to do this video because I wanted to show you a realistic, flawless, more full coverage tutorial that looks nice in person and not just on YouTube, because that's really easy to do. I'm going to go ahead and do powder. So what I do is I use a pressed powder to set my under eyes and everywhere I put the concealer first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap out any type of creases that might be under my eye, because you don't want to set those. I'm going to use just a little brush, swirl it in my powder, and just gently tap. I don't swipe because you can disturb your makeup underneath, so I just gently tap everywhere I put concealer. You're going to set your makeup nicely, but in a gentle way, so you don't look super cakey. And of course, if you have more oily skin, you can use a lot more powder, but still, I think when you have oily skin and you use too much powder, it can still look heavy on your face. The smallest amount of powder that you can possibly use and get away with, the better, because I just think powder really just makes it all look heavy. Okay, so then I did just a tiny bit of pressed powder. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how I would use loose powder. I don't use loose powder every day, but if I am doing a more full coverage, want my makeup to last all day, or I'm going to go do something, this is what I would do. I'm taking my Jeffree Star Magic powder, and I'm going to tap out, let's see, I'm going to tap out just the tiniest bit, really not that much. I just put it in the lid, and then I take my sponge, I tap it in the powder, and I don't get very much on. I don't know, sorry, the sponge is kind of dirty, but I don't know, I have just a little bit, not a ton. And I even tap that into the sponge a little bit, and I am just going to go over my under eyes a little bit, and all over my face. And I haven't got any more powder on, so it's just the tiniest powder that was on there. A little bit more, and then just tap everywhere. And that just presses the foundation into my skin even more, and leaves me a really nice soft canvas where everything on top is going to blend really well. So next is going to be my bronzer, my contour, my blush, my highlighter. So what I'm going to be using is I'm going to do the number 7 bronzer in Golden Sand. This is my Shop My Stash for January. I've been using this a whole lot, and I really like this. So I just take a small angled brush, tap it in there, tap a little off so I don't get too much product, and just start off contouring in the hollows of my cheeks. So how you can figure this out is go kind of like this. It looks goofy, but you can really see where the hollows of your cheeks are. So I go just a little bit above that because it gives the illusion of higher cheekbones. So I'm going to do that, and I do it on the perimeter of my face. So up my forehead just a little bit. If you have a larger forehead, you could definitely bronze up more of your forehead. The more you bronze, especially around the perimeter, the smaller your forehead will appear. So I'm going to do a little on this side. I like to kind of contour out my nose because I feel like it's a little bit more round. So if you're wanting a smaller appearance to your nose, I go with a small brush. I go all the way up to match with my eyebrows as to give me the proper shape as it's coming down. And then I just contour the sides of my nose down to the tip, and I kind of give it a smaller shape. What I love most about makeup is that you can really recreate your face. It gives you complete artistic freedom to do really whatever you want, and that's like the biggest appeal of makeup, I think. Amazing artists on Instagram that I love watching, and they just, you know, can manipulate it and change it however they want. Bronze that up. I'm going to go ahead and pat that in with my brush. So next is going to be a blush. I just picked kind of a warm tone blush just because I have the yellows and the browns on my eyes. The Luminous Silk Compact Blusher from Nude Cosmetics in 05 Desert Rose. I got this in my BoxyCharm. I love this color. It's such a beautiful, warm, kind of burnt orange color. So I put just a little, I put it on my brush and then I brush it off to tap off any excess. Because blush, that's one of those things that if you get too much, it definitely can be hard to fix. So you want to start off slow and then build up. I always apply blush in an upward direction, an angle, as to so your cheekbones are also risen even more. So from front to back and upward. I don't know if that makes sense. Alright, so next I'm going to do highlighter. I always spray my face before I apply highlighter. I feel like it helps all the powders that you just applied to really blend into the skin, but also I really like a beaming kind of brighter highlight. So when you spray your face, it gives the highlighter something to kind of adhere to. So I'm going to use my Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. I really like the Jeffree Star, but that is more glowy, so if you're looking for an all day long wear, more mattifying kind of spray, this one's a pretty decent one, and it's not super matte, so it doesn't make your skin feel dry and like it's sucking back into itself. It just makes it look really nice. And you can definitely go overboard because you can barely feel this mist. It is so soft. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but it's just the most beautiful spray. So that's why I like these setting sprays a lot. So I'm going to use my Essence Pure Nude highlighter. If you were looking for an everyday highlighter that's not too much, that you can wear to meetings, you can wear out to the store, and it doesn't look too unrealistic, these ones are beautiful. They do have different colors. I have just the 10 Be My Highlight, so I really like this one. It's perfect for my skin tone. So I just swirl my brush in it, tap it off, and then it's the same motion as the bronzer and the blush. I just go from front to back in upward motions. I like to take it above my eyebrow a little bit. And it's just such a nice everyday, more subtle highlighter that I think is just beautiful. A little on the tip of my nose, a little up the bridge of your nose. Highlighter is definitely a step you can skip if you'd rather not, or if you have oily skin and you don't want to add more emphasis to the oilier parts of your skin. So you definitely can skip this. I just happen to really like it. And especially when I'm doing more full coverage matte foundation, I really like to put on highlighter because then it just kind of brings more life back to my skin. Alright, so there is the complexion. I'm going to hop off camera, I'm going to finish my eyes, I'll apply my lips, and then I will be right back. I did a little eyeshadow underneath my eyes, and then I did mascara, I threw on some lips. The lips I'm using is the e.l.f. High Shine Liquid Lipstick. I really like these. I think they're really pigmented and hydrating. So I hope this video gave you some more helpful tips on how to make your foundation look flawless and more full coverage, but not cakey and crusty. I know YouTube can be really misleading with their tutorials, so I just want to do a more realistic, everyday, full coverage foundation that looks good in person. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you on the next video. Alright, bye guys.